Well, something is definitely going on. Right now, NASA is in a little bit of a panic over something that is happening in our atmosphere. In fact, they're rather concerned about it. Now, not only that, but in and around the same time as this announcement, we find out that our United States government, via Kristen Austin Fitts, she worked in the Bush administration. She came out and said that they are spending trillions of dollars on underground bunkers, $21 trillion. We've already got billionaires running to these bunkers, AKA Mark Zuckerberg. He's got one there in Hawaii, and many other billionaires. Bottom line, if the crap were to hit the fan, you can rest assured that the billionaires would still be alive and people within our U.S. government. But you and I, we all get to suffer the fate of whatever the hell happened on planet Earth. But I've got a lot of information to share with you today. And quite frankly, I think it's rather important that you know about this. But let's go straight to what I'm talking about here. And this I originally found on Popular Mechanics. Scientists are getting kind of anxious about a pothole in space, but we're probably going to be fine. Probably, they say. And then here's the picture of that pothole that they're a little bit worried about. Now, this article is from 2023, but this is still a very relevant issue for our scientists and for NASA. In fact, here's an article I found. I like the other one better regarding the information, but this was just published November 18th, 2025 by Science Alert. NASA's still tracking a vast anomaly growing in Earth's magnetic field. And you can see this is the magnetic field, and that red spot there is the concern. So this is what they are worried about. But going back to that article on Popular Mechanics, here's what they say. Earth's magnetic field is incredibly important to life on our planet. Beyond allowing for compass navigation and displaying the aurora borealis way up north, it is responsible for shielding us from the worst effects of the sun's rays. A little bit of sun we need. A lot of sun is obviously going to have some real issues. Obviously, too much sun, we're talking radiation, these types of things. But thankfully, we have a magnetic field, right? But there's a bit of a problem with this field. There's a dent in the field, what Science Alert calls a pothole in space. And this is what they're concerned about. It's called the South Atlantic Anomaly, or SAA. We're going to use that acronym throughout. And it's not a physical dent. It's a region of the skies between South America and Africa where our magnetic field is weaker than it is around the rest of the planet. This weakness is not life-threatening. It would have to be way more significant to threaten the planet's surface, but it is an issue for the craft that we've launched into orbit. In other words, right now, because it's just kind of a pothole, it's just kind of a dent, there's no physical opening in it as of right now. It's not going to be as big of an issue for us here on Earth, but it is for anything launched into orbit, or can be, right? Objects like satellites, right? And other spacecraft reside within our magnetic fields as they orbit the Earth. As such, they still benefit from its protection. Take that away, and you get a mess of potential technical difficulties, from small glitches to data loss and serious damage of important components caused by too much exposure to high energy particles from the sun. Now, it's enough of an issue that these monitoring spacecraft that pass through the SAA often have to power their crafts down before entering the region. So they have to turn everything off when they go over that weakened area of the Earth's magnetic field, the SAA. That's how big of a problem that it is. And by the way, keep in mind, just the other day, we had the Cloudflare outages. Could that have been caused by the weakening of the magnetosphere? It could have been. I'm still going to lean on my belief that I do believe it was a cyber attack, my opinion solely, right? They're not saying it was there at Cloudflare, but either way, it could have also been something like this. But it goes on to state that NASA, either way, they're keeping an eye on this dent, right? Trying to figure out how it behaves, what's causing the dent, and the whole 9 yards before things get a lot worse, before it, say, breaks open, right? It goes on to say, so far, it at least seems like the region isn't some kind of harbinger of doom. It doesn't look like we're losing our magnetic field anytime soon, but it could mean we have something to brace for. Some researchers theorize that the SAA is an indication that the Earth's magnetic field is about to flip, which, by the way, the pole flip, it's a real thing. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's just how you view it. But it would most likely have serious consequences for our electronics and our communication systems. And that's what we have to keep an eye on, right? They're really worried about that. But there's still a lot that they don't understand about this particular issue. Now, before I tell you a little more information on that, I want to remind you, please make sure you are still subscribed to that channel and make sure you have that all bell button checked. Otherwise, you won't get any notifications for the most part from YouTube. And also make sure you click that like button and like the video. And by the way, sign up for Restricted Republic. We're going to be doing an exclusive report there today. Justice Night just put one out. I've got a big report coming out tomorrow. And for a limited time only, you can get it for $3.99 per month. Comes with 14 days free. By the way, use the coupon code LISA. I don't offer this option often. So take advantage of it. Go to Restricted Republic right now and sign up for $3.99 per month. We've got exclusive content that we're not sharing anywhere else on restrictedrepublic.com. But with that, what exactly could happen, right? Let's start with a small dent in the Earth's magnetic field, in the SAA. What would happen if that were the case? Well, I put it on Grok, right? We're going to let AI kind of give us this answer. And the question I asked was, what would happen if Earth's magnetic field got a small hole in it? And here's the short answer. Life on Earth would not instantly fry, but here's what it would experience. Higher levels of radiation, especially over that particular region, more frequent and intense auroras, which, by the way, we have been seeing, right? An increased risk for satellites, power grids, and aircraft, which we've also been seeing. For our satellites and stuff to have to go over that area and power down or not be in the area, that's a pretty significant issue in and of itself. But in a nutshell, if it were a small hole, we're not talking about life-threatening or world-ending or anything like that. But what if the hole were bigger? Right? And it would really depend on how big the hole would be. And I asked that also, what if the hole were bigger? AI's response, a larger hole in the Earth's magnetic field is going to be a completely different situation. Not extinction, but absolutely civilization level disruptive. And here's what they say could happen. Massive radiation flooding in the atmosphere. Airline travel over the region becomes dangerous or impossible. In other words, you couldn't fly any planes through that region because it would just fry them. Astronauts and satellites in that sector get hit with lethal radiation. So likely couldn't travel anywhere in that area, obviously not in space. And down below, you're going to have lethal levels of radiation. So you're going to have a spot on the Earth that's unlivable. Increased cancer risk for populations living beneath the hole. So obviously cancer. And radio communications and GPS degrade or fail whenever the sun is active. And by the way, lethal radiation up above, not for those that are below the spot, given a correction on that, but cancer is at risk for those living below that area. But global tech disruptions, we're going to have some issues with our satellites, our GPS, all of that, radio blackouts. You're going to see a lot more communication issues, which could become rather severe depending on how bad things are. And then, of course, monster auroras. So that's some of the things that I believe NASA and these scientists are worried about. But either way, what we have been witnessing lately is auroras in places they rarely ever are, right? Here's what I'm talking about. Space.com, rare polar rain aurora seen from Earth for the first time. And that was, back in 2024. And then we also have this recently, and this is on Yahoo News, MYSA, rare northern lights spotted in Texas. Here's when you might see them again. And they're very rare. And they're talking about seeing them again just shortly there after this other one, I believe sometime in November. But we have these rare auroras that people have never seen ever. And they're now seeing them all across the United States of America. Some up north. I believe there were other states as well. I think there have been 5 states and areas in which these auroras have come out. And very rare in those places. So these are a direct result of the weakening of the Earth's magnetosphere. Now, either way, what is going on is our United States government is building trillion-dollar bunkers all over the place. And this information came out by Catherine Austin Fitts. And one has to ask, I understand that these Earth's magnetic field weakening is not yet life-threatening. But the question has to be asked, well, if it's not that, what do they know that we don't? And why are they preparing these massive bunkers? Well, take a look at this, and this is on theindependent.com. And here's what it says. U.S. has a $21 trillion underground network for only the wealthiest to hide out in a near event, officials say. Now, the article goes on to state this. The U.S. has built a secret underground city costing $21 trillion where the ultra-wealthy can hide during a near-extinction event, a former government official has claimed. Catherine Austin Fitts, who served as the Assistant Secretary of Housing and Urban Development under George W. Bush, made the shocking allegation on former Fox News host Tucker Carlson podcast, according to Realtor.com. A stunning $21 trillion in unauthorized spending, by the way, with our tax-paying dollars, occurred in the department between 1998 to 2015, according to a 2017 report released by Michigan State University economics Mark Skidmore. Here's the deal. They're using our tax-paying dollars to save themselves from a life-threatening event and a world-ending event. Using our money to do that, that pisses me off. I hope it ticks you off too, because this isn't a bunker for us. It's just for them, by the way. And it's multiple bunkers, apparently. Given the Army's $122 billion budget, that meant unsupported adjustments were 54 times spending authorized by Congress. Typically, such adjustments in public budgets are only a small fraction of authorized spending, the report noted. While on the Tucker Carlson show, Fitts said she spent years investigating where the $21 trillion had gone and discovered there were 170 secret underground bases across the U.S. Now, where are they? Well, we don't know. Here's what she does say. One of the things I've looked at in the process of looking at where all this money is going is the underground base, city infrastructure, and transportation systems that have been built, she said. We've built an extraordinary number of underground bases and supposedly transportation systems, including bases located beneath the oceans, literally beneath our oceans. Now, it wasn't immediately clear where these bunkers are located or who among the elite have access should disaster strike. Dun, dun, dun. But I guarantee you, it's not going to be us. It's going to be your billionaires, your congressional leaders, your uber elite, those who have power in our world. And it's really, really sad. I don't have the money to build a bunker or even get a bunker. I don't have it. But, I do what I can to prepare. And obviously, I want to encourage you to do that because nobody knows what's going to happen when the crap hits the fan. I do know what the Bible says, and I kind of follow that. And, it's going to be all hell breaking out. But if you know Jesus, I guess you have nothing to worry about. But either way, billionaires in our government are building bunkers, and you're not invited, regardless of the fact that they used your money to do it. Anyhow, I'd love to hear from all of you. Please make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Please double check that, by the way. But I love you all. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.